1.3 is just upon us, and of course that means we are getting a new character in version 1.3, which I'm absolutely stoked for because I truly feel that this character is a lot of fun, though it does have a little bit of concerns for me as well, and that is Imbibitor Lunae. Now, who is Imbibitor Lunae? Well, it's the alter ego of Danheng, of course. And today, we're going to be talking about how you should prepare to build your Danheng. This includes ascending and, of course, getting those traces up, followed by what I think is going to be his best light cones and, of course, his best artifacts. But before we get into that, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. And don't forget to hit the notification bell to be notified of when the next Honkai Star Rail video comes out. Guys, of course, I am sponsored by the ever wonderful Gamer Subs. Now, if you don't know about Gamer Subs, I'm going to give you a brief introduction. Gluten-free, keto-friendly energy drinks that are always for creators or anybody who just likes energy drinks. I am so happy to work with a company that loves their content creators so much, and so many times do they make, you know, so many flavors for their content creators. So make sure to click the link down below, use code TYSHA for 10% off, and of course, without any further delay, let's go ahead and get right into it. Danheng, the Destruction Path Imaginary Element character. I actually really like the Imaginary Element. A lot of really good characters from Imaginary. We got Welt, Yukong being my girl, love her to death. And of course now, Imbibitor Lunae. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So, the enemy drop materials here. We got the Cyanets here, the Immortal Cyanets. We have the Immortal Arrow Blossoms, and of course the Immortal Lumen Twigs. Sorry. But yes, these drop from enemies. Now, you want 5 of these Cyanets, you want 15 of these Arrow Blossoms, and 15 of the Lumen Twigs. Now, you're going to need 3 of the Cyanets to make a Arrow Blossom and 3 Arrow Blossoms to make a Lumen Twig. It is a little bit of a grind, but honestly, it's worth it to ascend your characters. Ascension is key to making sure that your characters are going to actually do a good amount of damage. Speaking of ascending your characters, the last thing you're going to need to ascend outside of, you know, your credits is this, the Suppressing Edict, which you get from one of the Stagnant Shadow bosses, which, you know, you get 5 of these per run and you need 65, which correlates to about 13 runs of this. So make sure that you get those done on the highest difficulty. You know, use the support characters. There's plenty of people out there with wonderful support characters. A lot of Kafkas out there that's going to help you through a lot of this. So be ready for that. Now let's talk about leveling up traces. Now this is going to be a whole overview of all the stuff you're going to need for traces. So first things first, let's start with the Cyanets, the Arrow Blossoms, and the Lumen Twigs. You're going to need 18 of, nope, not the Shadow Blade, sorry. You're going to need 41 of these Cyanets. You're going to need 56 of the Arrow Blossoms, and of course 58 of the Lumen Twigs, which again drop from enemies. Of course, you're also going to need these Shattered Blades, 18 Shattered Blades to be exact. And then you're going to need 69 of the Lifeless Blades, followed by 139 of the World Breaker Blades. Now, these all drop from the corrosive, or is it corrosion or corrosive? I can't remember, but they drop from those events. And you need 3 of these Shattered Blades to make the Lifeless Blade, and 3 Lifeless Blades to make the World Breaker Blades. Now these are solely for destruction characters, so you'll want to make sure to do the destruction one of it. It even says right here, broken weapon left behind by members of the Antimatter Legion used to level up traces significantly for destruction characters. Easy peasy. Now of course, we've got all that stuff, which is enemy drops and of course corrosion, but let's go ahead and talk about this right here, the Regret of Infinite is it Ochema? Yeah, it's Ochema. Just want to make sure. I almost said Ochema. But the Regret of the Infinite Ochema. You get these from battling against what's her name? The new world boss character. I feel so bad. I can't remember her name, but big boob lady. Fantelia. You have to beat Fantelia, and you get about, I think it's like 2 or 3 of these at a time, so it's around 3 to 4 times you have to face her, to be honest, on average. So once a week, get those done. You won't be disappointed on getting that. And then, of course, you need 8 of these Tracks of Destiny, which they give out a lot of these, so perfect. The biggest thing that's always going to be a problem for me is these credits. You're going to need 3,300,000 in total between Ascensions and Traces. So let's go ahead and talk about Imbibitor Lunae's actual abilities here. We're going to talk about the Traces that work with them, followed by the Eidolon. So first things first, let's talk about the skill enhancement here. Dragcore Libre, which is energy restoration 0, weakness break 0, enhances basic attack, may be applied up to 3 times consecutively. Using the ability does not consume skill points and is not considered as using a skill point. Enhancing basic attack, benefit Lotus 1 time transforms basic attack to Transcendence, 2 times makes it Divine Spear, and 3 times makes it the Fulgurant Leap. When unleashing Divine Spear or Fulgurant Leap, 1 stack of Dominating Roar is gained before every hit, starting from the 4th hit. Each stack of Dominating Roar increases Danheng's Imbibitor Lunae's crit damage by 50% at a max of 4 stacks. So your crit damage can get increased up to 60%, which is big. That's a big boost in power right there. These stacks last until the end of the turn. Now let's go ahead and talk about the bonus Eidolons that you could get from there. Now, Zephyr's Blade Eidolon, you could get buffs provided by Dominating Roar persists until the end of the character's next turn, which is fantastic. Now let's go ahead and get into the ultimate here. Azure's Aqua Absolutes All, the ultimate blast. Energy restoration 5, weakness break to a single target is 60 with a blast of 60. Unleashes a 3-hit attack, deals imaginary damage equal to 360% of Danheng's Imbibitor Lunae attack to a single enemy target, and imaginary damage equal to 168% of Danheng Imbibitor Lunae's attack to adjacent targets, and obtains 2 Squama Sacrosancta, however it's said. A max of 3 of those can be possessed at any given time. Danheng Imbibitor Lunae may consume an equivalent number of that instead of skill points. Consuming those is considered equivalent to consuming skill points. So that's kind of the trade-off. You could get more of those to where you don't have to consume skill points, which is really cool. And then, of course, we have the bonus Eidolons for that. After using his ultimate, Imbibitor Lunae's action is advanced forward by 100% and gains 1 extra of the Squama Sanctrosunk. It's so hard, bro. I'm sorry. I'm not very good at reading this. So, but anyways, let's go ahead and get into the talent enhance. Righteous Heart. Imbibitor Lunae gains 1 stack of Righteous Heart after each hit unleashed during an attack. Righteous Heart increases his damage by 12.5% up to 6 stacks. These stacks last until the end of his turn. Now, why that's important? Go into the traces, right? Starveil, at the start of the battle, immediately regenerates 15 energy. Pretty dang good. You're gonna need it, because you're gonna need to get to, I think how much does it cost to use this? Energy cost? Let's see. View details. Energy cost. Where is it? Anyways, you get the point. You're gonna need as much energy as you possibly can. Aqua Rain increases the chance to resist crowd control debuffs by 35%. Pretty bug. Then you got Jolt Anew. This character's crit rate increases by 12% when dealing damage to enemy targets with imaginary weaknesses. Big stuff. Absolutely big stuff. And then the last thing that we kind of want to talk about is the Heaven Quelling Prismedrakon, which is his technique. After using his technique, Imbibitor Lunae enters the Leaping Dragon state for 20 seconds. While in Leaping Dragon state, using his attack causes him to move forward rapidly in a set direction, attacking all enemies he touches and blocking all incoming attacks. After entering combat via attacking enemies with Leaping Dragon, Imbibitor Lunae deals imaginary damage equal to 120% of the attack of all enemies against 1 of the Squama Sacrosanctum. There we go. I said it kind of, so you can't be mad at me now. But yes, he does have a lot of cool stuff going for him. It's tough with the skill point using and then the Sanctum stuff, because you have to make sure you build enough of Sanctum. And I really want to try him out and give him the benefit of a doubt, because I think that it could work really, really well. But let's go ahead and talk about first light cones. Now, this light cone is his light cone. It makes sense that it's good for him. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Brighter Than the Sun. Increase the wearer's crit rate by 18%. When the wearer uses their basic attack, they will gain 1 stack of Dragon's Call for 2 turns. Each stack of Dragon's Call increases the wearer's attack by 18% and energy restoration rate by 6%. Dragon's Call can be stacked up to 2 times. Beautiful. Beautiful. Sorry, holding back yawns because it's like 4 a.m. in the morning for me as I'm recording this. My bad. But it's a beautiful one. It works really well for him. Boosts the crit rate, gives him attack bonus, and energy restoration. Can't go wrong with that. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this one. On the Fall of an Aeon. This one is a free-to-play, free-to-play light code. You could get this from the Herta shop. Whenever the wearer attacks, their attack is increased by 8% in the battle. This effect can stack up to 4 times. When the wearer inflicts weakness break on enemies, the wearer's damage increases by another 12% for 2 turns. That's pretty big. You're increasing your attack and increasing your damage output, which works really, really well. The only thing that sucks is you're not getting a crit boost, but that's fine. You're still doing amazing things because he boosts from attack anyway. You want to make sure that you're boosting your attack percentage. Of course, we have Under the Blue Sky, which is a 4-star one that I would recommend. Increase the wearer's attack by 60%. When the wearer defeats an enemy, the wearer's crit rate increases by 12% for 3 turns. That's pretty dope because, again, you want to be able to increase your crit rate, and I think that, honestly, this is a great 4-star too. And lastly, I think it's worth mentioning talking about this 3-star because it still works really, really well. Collapsing Sky increases the wearer's basic attack and skill damage by 20%, which is pretty big because that helps out your attacks when it comes to Imbibitor Lunae. So that's perfect. Now, let's go ahead and get into artifacts, or not artifacts, I'm sorry. Let's get into relics because relics are pretty freaking important here, all right? Now, first things first, Musketeer Wild Wheat is a very good option for him as a 4-piece relic set, right? You have the 2-piece, which increases attack by 12%, and then the 4-piece, the wearer's speed increases by 6%, and basic attack damage increased by 10%. Pretty cool, right? Works really, really well. But of course, we do have Wastelanders of Banditry Desert. Another great 4-piece for you to use, and one that I'm personally farming up because I think it would be a lot of fun. Increases imaginary damage by 10% on the 2-piece, and the 4-piece, when attacking debuffed enemies, the wearer's crit rate increases by 10%, and their crit damage increases by 20% against imprisoned enemies. Which means that if you're able to imprison them with Imbibitor Lunae, great. If not, pair them with Welt, you'll do fine. Now, you could also do a 2-piece mixture of both of those, right? Works perfect, right? Makes sense, right? I'm just telling you. So, with the 4 pieces, right? I just want to point this out. So, for your, what would you call it? Your body relic. You want to make sure that you have either crit rate or crit damage percentage as that. And then, of course, for your feat speed. Let's just make sure that you know that. Now let's go ahead and get into the possible 2 pieces. Of course, Space Sailing Station, a great possible 2-piece set to put on there as well for the last 2 pieces. Increases the wearer's attack by 12%. When the wearer's speed reaches 120 or higher, the wearer's attack increases by an extra 12%. BEA Beautiful. Works perfect. And then, of course, we also got this one, the Rutilant Arena. 2-piece. Increases the wearer's crit rate by 8%. When the wearer's current crit rate reaches 70% or higher, the wearer's basic attack and skill damage is increased by 20%. That's really good because you want to make sure that you have good skill damage and attack. Like, it just makes sense for what Imbibitor Lunae is going to be. So you could use this one, or you could go with Old Faithful, go with Space Sailing Station. Just make sure that when you do the primary stats for these, right, you want to make sure that you're actually going for the 2-piece. So like the regular orb, you want to make sure that you're using imaginary attack damage. And then for your little wandering trek, I guess is what you would call it, like this little thingy right here, the little chain, you want to make sure to have attack percentage or energy recharge rate. So there's always those. And then, of course, when you're looking at your relics, make sure to prioritize the following stats in order: crit rate, crit damage, speed, attack percentage, and break. So you could also go for, I don't think you could actually go for energy recharge rate as a side one, but hey, if somehow you can, I don't know. I've never seen it myself, and I haven't really looked it up, so I don't have that information. But all of those ones I said before: crit rate, crit damage, speed, attack percentage, and break effect rate, makes sense because of what you're doing with Danheng, right? So In regards to him, do I think he's going to be one of those fantastic units? Absolutely. I think the amount of damage he's going to be able to do is crazy. Especially if you follow all this guide that I've told you about. I think he'll do wonderful things. It's a good baseline guide. You could probably go for other builds too. I'd love to hear it. So please let me know in the comments down below. Honestly, I'm excited for Imbibitor Lunae. He looks so freaking cool. And I can't wait to see how he works in the future. Now, of course, y'all, if you like the content, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. And don't forget to hit that notification bell to be notified of when the next Honkai Star Rail video comes out. Guys, appreciate you all. We are 10 away as of this recording from 900. And I really want to get to 2,000 by the end of the year. So if you haven't done so already and you've liked a bunch of my videos, please just hit the subscribe. You won't be disappointed. Also, don't forget to check out all the links in the description. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it. Love you all to death. And as always, we'll catch you all in the next video. Please take care and be safe.